Hey everybody, this is Mr. Marshall at Stony Lane. I have a book for you today, and this is the kind of book that's sort of like a teaching book. It's what's called nonfiction. You've probably heard that word before. Nonfiction is a book that teaches you stuff. Did you know that? Nonfiction is a book that teaches you stuff. And so, one thing that we do when we read a nonfiction book or a teaching book is we start to think, well, what do we already know about this topic? Okay, so let's take a look. This book is called The Slowest Animals. The Slowest Animals. So already I know what this book is going to be about. It's about animals that are, well, slow, right? So I know a lot about slow animals. And if I look closely at this cover, it's got a snail on the cover, right? So I know some stuff about snails, right? I know they're slow. And I know that they're kind of small and they're kind of creepy to me. Anyway, so I can expect when I read this book to be thinking about certain things, right? I can expect to be reading about animals that are slow. So I can start to think about other animals that I know that are slow, right? There are a few, right? There are a few animals that I know that are slow. Some different bugs are slow. And there's an animal called the sloth that's slow. And there's turtles are slow, right? So those are things that I can expect to think about while I'm reading my book. I can also expect to think about new stuff. I'm probably going to learn things about slow animals when I read this book because I don't know everything about slow animals, do I? I know a lot, but I don't know everything. Are you ready? Let's get ready. Is your mind ready? Are you expecting to think about certain things? You should be because you're about to read a nonfiction book. Are you ready? Let's start. The Slowest Animals. The slowest animals. Look at that. That's a sloth. That's another really slow animal. Let's take a look. So, in the front of this book is what's called a table of contents. A table of contents tells us what's going to be in this book. It says slow, slower, slowest. So, I guess this book is organized that way by animals that are slow, slower, slowest. I promise not to read this book too slowly, though. Glossary, that's sort of like a dictionary. That means it's going to tell us the meaning of words that are important to this book. Read more. I guess it's going to give me stuff to read after I finish this book. Internet sites. Index. Index is sort of like if I want to find something quickly, it'll tell me what page to look on. Okay, let's keep looking. Slow. Here we go. Whoops. They crawl. They float. They inch along the ground. These animals aren't just slow, they take slow to the extreme. The slow loris hangs upside down for hours to stalk prey. But this animal isn't always slow. It quickly snatches bugs. This animal is in no hurry. Okay, so sometimes it's slow and sometimes it's quick. It's quick when it hunts, right? The Gila monster's legs move slowly. Look at that. Sneaking up on prey is work. Luckily, this reptile only needs to eat 3 or 4 times a year. Holy moly. So, this is another animal that moves slowly, but it can move quickly, right? Here's another one. Koalas have to eat a lot of eucalyptus leaves to get enough nutrients. To save energy, a koala moves slowly and sleeps a lot. So that's why a koala goes so slowly, because it's storing up its energy. I did not know that. So I knew that they were slow, but now I know why. See, sometimes we build on our knowledge. Sometimes we know stuff before we start reading a nonfiction book. And then we learn more about that same stuff. It's not always learning new stuff, it's about learning more about the same stuff. Did you know that? That's what nonfiction is. Let's keep going. This next part of the book is called Slower. So here we go. A giant anteater moves slowly, but it doesn't have a choice. See, now that's different, right? Because the other animals we just finished reading about, they sometimes move quickly, but they usually move slowly. This animal doesn't have a choice, right? It has to go slowly. To keep its claws sharp, it walks on the sides of its front paws. I was not aware of that. Look at that. Look at that. You can look up close and see it's walking like this, not like this. It's walking like this, not like this. Because if it walks like this, then its claws won't stay sharp, and it needs its claws to stay sharp. Did you know that? There's a reason why the anteater is slow. See, it says pokey. In no hurry, pokey. Let's keep going. This next picture is pretty yucky, I think. An earthworm, ew, makes its home in wet, warm soil. This dirt digger may be slow, but its movement mixes the soil and helps plants grow. Wow, that's the first time that we're hearing about an animal that helps other things grow. Right? Up until now, we've heard about how animals help themselves, but the earthworm is one that helps other things grow. Let's keep going. A seahorse wiggles through the ocean. It is too slow to hunt. A seahorse just sucks in shrimp floating by. Wow. So the seahorse, this doesn't tell us why it's too slow. It tells us what it does because it's too slow. It just sucks in the food, right? Here's the next part of the book called Slowest. Slowest. Ready? How fast could you move if you had to carry your house on your back? Garden snails carry their shells wherever they go. See, before it was in no hurry, and then pokey, now it's sluggish. That's very slow. Let's see what happens. Wow, this picture's pretty amazing. A Galapagos tortoise, look at that, is too big to move fast. This reptile can weigh up to 573 pounds. That's 260 kilograms. That's more than 2 baby elephants. Wow. That's why it moves slow. It's just too big and too heavy. A sloth might hang in one spot all day. This slow animal uses its sharp claws to hang from tree branches. Wow. Here's the glossary. A glossary is a list of important words that you find in this book that help you think more about what you read in the book. So take a look at these words. Right? Claw. It tells you that that's a hard curved nail on the foot of a bird or other animal. It tells you all these other words and what they mean. Take a minute and just look. You can pause the video if you want to read that quietly to yourself and maybe find a word that you can think about. And maybe if you talk about that word, then it can help you understand these slow animals a little bit better. Okay, let's read on. This is the index, and the index is if you want to be like, oh, I read this book, but I don't remember, I want to read about koalas again. I can look for the word koalas, and it tells me that koalas are on page 8, right? It helps me remember things if I want to reread the book. Or maybe I haven't read the book. See, in nonfiction, you don't have to read it in order like a story. You can read it kind of going all over the book, right? And an index will help you to do that. So it says koalas are on page 8. So if I go to page 8, let's see if it's true. Ah, there's page 8. There's my friend the koala. Well, I hope you liked this book, and I hope that this taught you about slow animals, but also about how to read nonfiction books. teaching books and think about all the parts of the book. I hope it also is a reminder to you that sometimes you know a lot about a topic, but you can still learn more about something you already know about. Okay? All right. Thanks for reading that book with me. I'll see you next time.